Starting streaming. Call it cuckoo. So, can you guys take the food off the center of the table at this point? Just kind of set it out of the way. As I said, I'll have to let you guys kind of improv your meeting with each other for a little while I delve in deeper, since I didn't have all the time I wanted.
Floors and fire, that's what I was going to say.
Did some come out?
I didn't see anything.
Okay, it should be fun. That's why the brick is around it.
I know.
Alright.
You're out of reading.
So, did I already read the letter to you there, Leah?
Yeah.
The letter the doctor sent to you? Did I read the letter to you? I don't think I did. Okay. So, each of you received a letter because somehow you were connected with him in some way in the past. Dear, insert your name. So glad to hear you could accept my invitation to visit. I am looking forward to showing you the latest developments in my research. I'm also anxious to bring you up to date on my experiments. There's been several more exciting developments since the publication of my article in the Journal of the American Psychological Society a few months back. I trust you've read it. There will be a few surprises, too. You can count on that. My isolation is quite tolerable. The staff and I think of ourselves as a family. Old Ebenezer, you'll meet him on the ride over, is always ready to ferry one of us over to the mainland if we should feel the need to touch base with civilization. This summer, we've been blessed with a regular dinner companion in the form of Mr. Shelley, a graduate student from Princeton. He is camped on the north beach of the island, conducting some sort of bird study. You'll find him witty and pleasant. Looking forward to seeing you, Dr. Aldous Brewer.
So,
Go ahead and dim the lights a little bit.
further evaluation, you have stuff with medical.
Do you?
Yeah. I have pharmacy and psychology.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
which are pretty high.
That will be handy.
That's not medical practitioner.
It still falls under medical.
That just means you know how to use drugs.
Psychology and a
I have psychology.
What about pharmacy?
So,
Pharmacy?
Drake, your character did roll within your EDU, right?
Yes.
I should be. Let me.
Go ahead and roll yours.
Yeah, because I rolled it out as blank, so mine's 2 times 5. So
Does that count as medical?
I did get it.
You did or did not?
I did.
Okay.
Pharmacy and psychology would be met.
Because I have psychology.
Are you a student? College
No,
student? He's a grad student.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were a minor.
No, that was the previous adventure he was on that he dealt with somebody.
Oh.
No, he's a grad student. So that's correct. Okay, so the two of you have read some of this published work, and so here's an excerpt from Dr. Brewer's article. If we accept for a moment the theory that the collective unconsciousness is the source of all myth, we have to ask if it is not possible to consciously tap the source. Experiments with hypnosis, sometimes combined with powerful new drugs, have shown some evidence to support this. Subject A showed little response to any treatments, but B was quite positive. Not only were unsuspected areas of knowledge revealed during these sessions, but at times the subject demonstrated an entirely different personality. This personality, on the few occasions that it was observed to emerge, used archaic, almost biblical syntax, perhaps indicating that a true archetypal form may have been reached. This personality was very powerful and almost compelling, causing one to wonder if phenomena such as this is not the explanation for the possessions of the Middle Ages and, in more recent times, of the voodoo cultists in the Caribbean. While never reaching the archetypal content of B, Subject C was nonetheless of interest. Numerous personality types were brought to the surface. One claiming to have lived during the time of the Egyptian pharaohs. Surprisingly enough, the subject did display a fairly thorough knowledge of the history of that long-dead civilization, though later research showed much of it to be pure flights of fancy. All three showed a certain commonality of mythic form, although admittedly, much was difficult to decipher. So the two of you have that foreknowledge that you may want to, when you're on the boat during the travel, getting to know each other. That might be worth bringing up in discussions with each other. So the visit is for 5 days on the island. So you want to pack accordingly for what is basically a wealthy resort for maybe not all the most stable people, but it's supposed to be pretty posh. There shouldn't be any problems with being well fed and having a nice place to stay and all of that. But you want changes of clothes, etc. And of course, if you're the person, if you were a journalist or a note taker or something, you will make sure pads of paper and pencils, etc. Once you've packed for this 5-day visit, you will begin the adventure aboard a small motorboat piloted by Ebenezer Waite, bound for North Island.
Ebenezer who?
Waite. W-A-I-T-E. And as I said, once I get you guys kind of on the boat, you'll talk amongst yourselves while I try to get more info here.
Pretty sure Ebenezer did it. There's some sort of heat-sensitive details.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're all prepared to go to the boat. To the
I think I'm ready.
Is it appropriate for my character to have tarot cards and a pendant since she's a mystic?
Yeah. And again, supply yourselves, don't worry about money, just supply yourselves within
I'm
reason.
gonna have a rabbit's foot. That's
Okay. Whatever you think's appropriate.
You're crazy.
Have a pack of lucky playing cards with manipulated on.
It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Just
He's
Just
blood
over
over
to
there.
the
To everybody else, they're the charlatan.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Nah.
My character.
Though the anthropologist might just find it fascinating.
What would I think? He's a charlatan.
Fascinating.
More.
And a graduate student might be a little more open-minded than the others. PIs are probably pretty cynical, like, it's another charlatan.
Oh, well-educated man, thank you very
We
much.
see a lot of weird stuff.
No, we don't.
You're
We know.
noobs.
We're new to the...
Except for him, I think his is the only character with the prior
I'm
experience.
not new to PI stuff.
Well, but as far as the
Isn't
occult
normally,
and
yeah.
paranormal and such, you're new to
Because
that.
everything
Unless
we've
it says
investigated that
otherwise.
was originally paranormal turned out to be bull.
Unless it says otherwise in your description there.
Alright, whatever.
It's up to you, but you know, generally when you're first starting out, your character has no experience of the occult or paranormal. And so your character will need to act accordingly when you see unusual things, you know, with shock and awe and, you know, disbelief or incredulity, whatever
I have nerves of
you think is
steel.
appropriate. Well, it doesn't mean you have to freak out, but you may just deny it. It's like, oh, what kind of, you know, special effects is this or something, or
Oh,
delusional, or maybe it's hypnosis, or,
Gotcha.
you know, that's just, you're not, you know.
I'm looking to find the curtain.
Yeah, the man behind the curtain,
Yeah.
exactly.
who's pulling on those strings?
Because that's the most likely thing. You're a practical gumshoe guy.
Ooh, equipment. Gumshoe.
pack of gum, pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that a pack of shoes, a pair of gum?
I have a lot of equipment. I don't know about you guys.
I have a lot of like mystical stuff, like tarot cards.
Do you have a crystal
and
ball?
White birch. No.
A dowsing rod.
Now she does. I even have
Do you have
a bag
chloroform?
of bones.
Rat bones.
It's a thing.
If they're leaking, you can chloroform.
Human bones?
Finger bones.
I was gonna say, aren't they
Orphan
metatarsals?
children.
Orphan children? Bathed in their tears.
You got marinated in tears.
But you gotta suck the marrow out first. That's what provides a connection.
Mineral
I'd be doing
I need a mustache. Nah, he's fine without a mustache.
I think you benefit from a scrabbly beard. That's
Like a 5 o'clock shadow
Yeah.
kind of thing.
yeah.
Oh. He does have the cheekbones for it. And a butt chin.
That was distinguished back then.
That's in my equipment.
What is a cleft chin, not a butt chin?
Oh, too late. I already
How
wrote it.
uncouth.
I already wrote it in my equipment as a butt chin.
Did they have flashes?
Is that a weapon?
I have it written down as a chin that can cut glass.
PI on the other hand, flashlight.
Yeah. Way better.
Sorry, a torch.
This guy's been up late at night.
Still working on your equipment?
He has some huge eyebrows.
I have all
Sure,
my.
you have huge eyebrows?
I don't have a drawing on my desk.
Alright, if you're finished with your equipment and you're ready, raise your candle.
These are kind of hot.
Are they hot?
They're not.
Hold them at the bottom.
Don't get thingy.
Drake, are you finished? Okay. You may put it down. Whoa.
And
No.
When you die, you extinguish.
Yes.
Yep. You were here for that part. He said we gotta do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you just sit there for the rest of the
So you all gather at the dock on the coast. Start making note of each other. Some of you may have run into each other before or not. That's for you to determine. And this old salty dog comes out about in his 80s, unmistakably Ebenezer, and got a scraggly long beard and the pull down thick sweater and with a hat over his ears to keep warm, and shouts for all of you to get on board before it gets too late. What are you doing, lollygagging around, sitting there? Get on board! Get on, all of you!
hop on the boat.
first.
So there's a little gangplank onto the
So
boat.
he and I kind of shoulder each other around trying to get on there first.
There's enough room for two at a time.
We're gonna shoulder, I'll let you go.
Okay, we walk on.
I don't want you to cut yourself on my chin.
So it's a small motor launch. So as you guys come up the gangplank, it says, come on, get on here. We don't have all night. The lights are wasting. It's going to be dark when we get there at this point. Come on now. Good. Come on. Yes, ladies. Yes, come on. Now, get on board.
What's the name of the ship?
It's a boat.
What's the name of the boat?
Boat.
Bodie. McBoatface.
No.
Singathon.
Say silence name.
Fantasy's
The
Tale.
iceberg.
That's the boat.
Sure.
Will I hit a Titanic?
What was the assignment?
Titanic.
The North Island Sanatorium.
Thank you.
So you all get on board. He hauls the planking off, casts off, revs up the motor, and starts heading out of the harbor and into the open sea. It'll be a number of hours. It'll be dark, so you might as well get yourselves comfortable. If you go below decks, there's a nice little table down there. There's some grub for you. What's that?
Just a little yacht.
It's a nice little motorboat, you know, about a 30-footer. It's not a yacht, but it's
little tugboat,
it's not
yeah.
bad. It's better than a tugboat, but yeah, underneath below decks there's a number of quarters, and then in the center is a nice large galley with a table and lantern lighting and little electric lighting as well. And there's a little bit of snacks and such on the table, and there's just a large central table there for you guys to gather around. What's that?
Eat some peanuts.
Okay. And
I'm above decks.
okay, you're above decks. What are you doing?
Just kind of hanging out.
Okay, you talking to Ebenezer?
Keeping an eye, if he talks to me.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, he's up there steering the boat.
Oh, I didn't think of an exit. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, probably before I could walk, I bet it was. Nigh on 70+ years.
Here?
Well, not just here. I've been from one sea to another. I've seen the world, and I've seen things you cannot imagine. I've been in foreign parts all over. I've seen things that'll make you turn white inside.
Like what?
I remember. He starts giving you tales about mermaids who sound like who tried to lead him into dangers, and later he was in a jungle in search of a fantastic temple filled with gold and inhabited by a god. And but when he got there, it was a simple trader's hut. And in the midst were a bunch of primitives who believed the trader to be a divine origin. But he goes on, this takes like a long time for him to get to it. You know, that's like 30 minutes just for that little bit of information. So, what about you there, Austin? What are you doing?
Below decks, eating
Okay.
assortment food.
I'm also eating.
Okay, great.
I value my peanuts.
Okay, Heather?
I'm just gonna go to the front of the boat and just look out.
Okay, there's a setting sun to the west. You're heading northeast, so there's not. If there's the darkening sky to the east and setting horizon. It's kind of a beautiful sunset as you draw away from the coastline. How about you, Jacob?
I go to the down below and stretch out on a bed and take a nap.
Okay. The water's fairly calm, not too rocking, so probably none of you need to worry about seasickness at this point. So for those of you who are down in the galley, go ahead and play accordingly. You're staring at each other across the table. You may or may not know each other. You guys decide that, and have your conversations, introduce each other.
So who are you folks?
Professor Victor Starington.
I'm Betty Jones.
Sherlock. Nice to meet you too. Is there any alcohol?
Yep.
Why?
There's a whole cabinet full.
I get myself a beer.
Although there's one area that looks like just nothing but grog.
But there's no beer.
I get me some old school grog.
And it says Ebenezer's don't touch.
I'll pop myself some whiskey or something.
Okay.
Get yourself some cupcakes.
So, what do you folks do?
Professor of Anthropology.
You?
I perform divinations for those who seek answers.
Right.
Keep tan on the paper.
You're up, Buck. You're down here. No, you're not.
Oh, you're
So,
I take a shot.
and you're
let's not discredit her just yet.
I'm napping.
You're on and snow
Nothing about discrediting, boy.
How exactly do you go about it?
Well, I've had visions and I read palms and I tell the future from my cards.
Uh-huh.
And did you pack any of that with
Is
you?
there XP in this?
Indeed I did.
Right.
And what do you do?
Me?
Yes.
I investigate things that get little fancy pants like you killed. That's right.
Just like the liquor you're drinking?
Uh-huh. I investigate liquor thoroughly. What a psychic. Ugh. 4 shots is good.
Dang! You're just going for it. How old are you?
Like 40 something.
Doesn't say on your paper?
I think it does.
41.
Oh, jeez.
I think without looking at your palm, your lifeline is likely short.
Ha!
I've lived a far, far fuller life than most, miss.
This is a new character. I haven't heard this voice yet.
Right?
I'm gonna go take a nap. We'll see you
With
later.
him?
What?
You're supposed to use this opportunity to get to
goes
know
up
each other
above.
rather than all taking naps.
You're
and
gonna take a
doing
nap up above?
We're doing that the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
How long is this boat ride?
A few hours.
Okay.
So I go up above.
Okay.
So this is all happening while I'm talking to Ebenezer?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't be sober.
Hmm?
I have 4 shots. Whiskey.
You have like
4 shots?
10 minutes, yeah.
A few minutes before it
The
hits
thing
me.
is decent stuff, otherwise you'll be on the boat. It's about 10 minutes before you're just screwed.
Yeah. I had some peanuts beforehand.
But you're 40 or so you might be used to it a little bit.
What's your con?
Con the thing?
12. We're 17.
Oh yeah, duh, fill it out.
It's 12. Do you have a chart for how quickly you get?
What was the resistance total and such? Let's see.
Be distracted.
It's only 4. I'm a grown man.
You have a what con?
12.
Okay.
I don't even do 4 shots. Not right like that.
We have
He discovered he's going to be working.
Roll percentile.
That's how you throw up and miss your mom's birthday.
72.
Okay. Within a few minutes, you start to sway, get very slurred, and within about 15 minutes, you'll be quite intoxicated.
Cool. So what are you folks?
What just happened?
I went up above.
Drunk.
Oh, you're going up above? I kind of like
Oh.
walked back and then continued talking to Ebenezer.
Who are you?
I'm Anne.
You better not have gotten into my grog there.
I saw I had your name on it. I didn't touch no grog.
Ah, that's good.
Grog
I'm gonna have to
good
throw you into the
stuff,
sea and feed you to the mermaids. So anyway, the mermaids, as I was saying.
though. What do you do?
Kind of taking a few
I'm in
notes.
the antiques business.
Antiques?
Yeah.
What kind of antiques?
All of them, but I specialize in ancient sculptures.
Ancient sculptures. Ancient sculptures. Like that
So how many
Anchorman
cases have you
thing.
dealt with?
Well,
Excuse me?
I've
Oh.
had cases
Oh, I
ranging from paranormal activity to visions I've had.
Well, I
of
suppose
people
that could be
been
one of
doomed
them,
to
but
terrible,
I'm
terrible
more
fortunes.
interested in just
Any of it
that
come to
I can
fruition?
acquire and rather than already in a
Indeed.
museum.
One of my friends, she'll remain
So you're a thief?
I had a very strong vision for her.
My line of work.
She's alive.
People who say they like to acquire rare goods.
I'm studying anthropology.
Because he's drunk.
People.
What?
Yes.
Been
It's more
there.
general than average people too.
Right.
What drew you
Right.
to the science?
Uh,
Do you
Well,
want to sit down?
it's always interesting to talk
Yes,
to people and see their
please.
background.
Do I overhear you?
As,
Did you introduce yourself to her?
nope.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Got her name, I won't remember it.
as you begin picking apart people, you see what drives them. And I think every little fact about people is interesting.
My name's Sherlock, by the way.
It's an interesting way to
Reach
look
out
at
to
them.
them. Shake hands. I'll just lay down, guys can decide it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you were like
I'm
literally
fine.
missing me.
No.
Like,
I just like
See,
hanging it
excuse
up.
me, I have to smoke. I go up. First, are there any cigars?
Care for a cigarette.
Yes, please.
Do we all smoke?
Everyone in the 20s.
Well, yeah,
It
we're
is
I was like,
1920s.
How to be stereotypical?
It helps your sore throat. It's good for you. It will cure your asthma.
We say C in all sentences.
Labor.
Yes, there is a humidor full of cigars.
Jeez.
Kula.
I will grab
Sorry.
one and head upstairs.
Yeah, this is long before the
I
embargo.
don't remember when that happened.
Yeah, that was
Do you
1960s
have
or
glasses?
something.
Yeah.
Do you wear a tweed suit?
50s, 60s. It started in the
Yeah,
50s.
sorry.
and By the time Kennedy
is that what you
was
look
there,
like?
Cuban Missile
It's a
Crisis.
glasses.
You look like
He was
Steve
well
Buscemi,
out.
but like a big fish version of Steve Buscemi.
I'm reading
Yes.
my characters.
Oh, thief.
Hmm?
Sorry, an antique acquirement person. Oh god, mystic down below.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I bet she has some fascinating pendants.
Right.
And then I go downstairs and I look for the
How
missing.
long are you napping for?
Like an hour or so.
Actually, I go down to the bar
Interaction.
and I get a drink.
You.
And then
I'm smoking.
I'm not even looking at you. Now I am, but I'm
No,
not.
I mean like
looking
once
at
you finish talking with him, I'm gonna be like,
That's
you.
like half an
Oh, I
hour.
know. I'm just gonna lay there for like half an hour.
Okay. What's the weather like? And what's the water like?
Clear, smooth sailing, not choppy at all. Very smooth. You know, just slight undulation, but nothing to make anybody seasick. It's a very pleasant. It's late summer, you know, not even fall yet, so a little warm, little humid, muggy, but not bad. It's quite pleasant.
Other birds.
We're at the coast. You're out in the sea right now.
there's a guy doing bird studies, obviously.
And yeah, at the island, remember on the north end of the island, there's a guy doing bird studies. So there'll be a lot of birds around.
seeing if they were here. We had vultures.
You saw plenty of seagulls and such as you were leaving.
This doesn't look quite right.
It's because you're drunk.
You wake from your nap.
Okay,
You're
hour.
refreshed.
Cool.
How long into the journey did you wake up? Like, am I still talking
I don't know. Yeah, you've heard about two good long stories from him.
Okay.
So you heard about the mermaids, and then you heard about the
Jungle.
gold jungle thing.
I
There.
did a smoky
I don't know, I like
golden
the
word.
sassiness of that one.
Smoky golden word.
I have $5,500 of in-game money to anybody that pours all this wax on their hand. And go. I'd do it.
So when I get up, what does your character do to me?
I am sitting at the bar, just sipping on some drink.
Okay.
He just found.
Well, it's not
Maybe
a
early.
bar. It's a full
Oh.
cabinet of alcohol. That's called a bar,
Oh,
a wet
no.
bar.
Is there
But there isn't
brandy?
actually a bar. It's a small galley area. But
Is there a brandy?
yes, there's
There's quite a
A little
few.
bit of brandy.
there's a whole variety.
I will drink this man's alcohol.
So I'm drinking a little bit of brandy.
You would die trying to drink. How much is
I'm
there?
40, I haven't got much longer. 20s.
Want to pickle that liver?
Still 20s.
What's your character doing?
My character's stretching.
Okay.
I go up the deck, walk around a little bit.
Okay, you can hear old Ebenezer regaling him with a story of something about gold and jungles and gods.
I go looking for some books.
And he's telling it in the first person. And then I went down to the village and the people there worship him like a god.
I go look for some books.
Curiously, other than his captain's log, you have not seen a single book.
Interesting.
Captain's Blog.
No books.
Well, I think, what time is it roughly?
About 8 o'clock. You're supposed to get there around 10ish.
In the morning?
No, at night.
At night? Oh.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna go investigate the ship. I wanna go look at the top of it, you know, where he was
Yeah,
sleeping.
but it's only a little 30-footer. It's not.
Yeah.
There isn't a whole lot to it.
Is anybody famous besides me?
In my head, I am.
I'm very famous, thank you very much.
You'd probably be asleep right now.
You're past
At
that.
the Dories.
Okay. I just wanted to know if I'd like recognize anybody right out of the gate. You guys might recognize me. I don't know if there's a role.
There is
A public figure?
Yeah,
Used to be?
used to be. I could have been a contender.
That's pretty much exactly what I got going on.
And are you hoping people recognize you? Or
No.
are you trying to disguise it or hide it?
Uh,
Or just not?
I'm not actively trying to hide it.
Okay. How were you famous?
I used to be a boxer.
Okay. Yeah, could have been a contender. So anybody that's high in, has a background in sports or anything like that, or physical boxing
Yeah.
or pop culture, etc.
Gotcha.
Boxing was pretty popular back then, but
Right.
generally most people knew the fights over the radio.
Right.
There wasn't television, there were
Get a name.
silent movies, but that
They
wasn't
could have gone and
filmed a
seen
lot.
it live.
Yeah, if they might have, depending on where you were, but that would be.
Yeah. I mean, if you toured during World War I. With the camps.
Maybe.
They're punching Nazis.
They weren't Nazis yet.
No, because they weren't no Nazis.
They were just, Huns.
They were
I was
conservative party.
Punching Huns?
Yeah, they called
That's what they call them back then, was Huns, yeah.
Punching the Mongols?
Yeah, they depicted them as like basically just big old apes. They'd rape your women and kill your children.
Typical.
Vikings.
Propaganda.
Well,
But, what's going on up top? Yeah.
Not a whole lot. Ebenezer's telling some fantastical tale on the jungle and gold and gods
I'm gonna go listen.
and primitive people and.
This is in my realm of expertise. I'm gonna go listen.
Okay.
Just sit there with my pen.
There's a bit of
He's
storm
telling
in
a
the
pretty
background.
fantastical tale.
Still cool to listen to.
Okay. You listening as well while you're up there? Or?
I'm sitting down,
do a spot fishing.
doing a spot fishing. I was just looking around the cabin, looking through the cabinets,
Okay.
the cupboards and things like that.
The cupboards have, pots and pans and broken plates and, chipped plates and such. And,
Gotcha.
it looks like he practically lives on this from time to time,
Oh.
but as a bachelor, clearly. But there's, and there's food stores and such enough for probably, several days if necessary. It's mostly, dried and preserved goods. There's foul weather gear packed in the trunks and life preservers here and there, and just all the typical
Okay.
boat stuff.
I like that nothing's even happened yet and we're already like digging through this guy's ship.
I was
What
curious
all
person.
this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Sorry. No, you're good.
All right.
Go ahead.
Doing
I
I went down to make a drink and looked for the Mystic. So I'm
Okay,
just
Mystic
gonna-
went back is upstairs
You
listening
guys
to
are
the
chatting.
So you gotta drink and head back up and listen to the story while
I'm down there digging through the cupboards.
Oh my gosh.
he's going through things.
I'm not ripping all of his
What are we
underwear out of the
doing?
drawer.
No, he's just
No,
checking
I'm
everything
just
out.
looking.
He finds his secret
You're
combo.
very schnockered.
Yeah, I decided to take a nap.
Oh, you decided that of your own free will?
Alcohol-induced nap. Okay, where?
On the deck, wherever.
You just sprawl on the deck.
Well, basically, I plopped down, offered her a cigarette, and then finished my cigarette, and then fell asleep because I had nothing to do.
So he'd be at the front of the boat.
Oops.
Yeah.
Okay.
He might also wet himself.
Or fall in the water.
That messed up.
Alcohol and boating, not a good combo.
I would.
My character used to be a sailor.
Alright.
Empire has proved otherwise.
How long have you been working here?
For the doctor? Oh, well, let's see, opened up the Sanatorium about 7 years ago or so, and I've been helping them out ever since, a little bit before setting up fare and supplies back and forth. Take them off the island from time to time when they get a little stir crazy or just feel like going to a conference or whatever they call those things there. Bunch of hoity-toity high talkers.
So you've been on the island?
Of course, it's there all the time. That's where we're going. Of course. It's a nice place. It's a nice place. The winters can get a little rough, but yeah, it's a good place. It's definitely not for us lower classes couldn't afford on our own if it wasn't for me job there, you know. But, yes, so some of the people there are pretty amazing.
How so?
Indeed. You let the doctor talk about it. I'm not supposed to say such things. I'm sorry. But he does some interesting things with them. I'll tell you that hypnotology, hypnosology, whatever he calls that mesmerizing stuff that he does is pretty amazing from what I hear tell. Oh, might want to tell your friends, we're about, see the lights there, coming up over the horizon there? That's the Sanatorium's house that's up above the cliffs there. We should be there in about 45 minutes an hour or so.
I turn around, I do one of those cool wolf whistles, and I just go, we're almost there.
That's a wolf whistle. Is that what you do?
That's
Cat call.
not what I meant, but
That's a wolf whistle.
too late, I already said it.
Okay.
I turn.
Captain looks at you.
It's the only one I know how to do.
Oh, please look offended.
Why? Why did you look offended? That's not how this works in the 20s. You don't get to be offended.
It was
But it was called the Roaring 20s for a reason. It's arguably more sexually liberal and outspoken than the 60s.
just pulling my back.
No, I'm just letting you know. The 20s were like extremely. It was a period where women had just come through suffragette and were really kind of sowing their oats there and were really speaking their mind.
the first time they decided to cut their hair really short.
Yeah, and yeah, it was a pretty wild time, and they were able to speak out in ways that they'd never been allowed to do before. And so it was arguably more wild than the 60s.
Oh, I should like Jessica.
What's that?
You just
Should
draw
have played Jessica Rabbit.
No.
You lose the Fun Club Shadow.
Or
in the butt.
I wouldn't.
Oh.
You're not bad. You're just drawn that way. All right. Any last things you guys want to do before you get to the island?
I just want to relax.
That's the thing that wakes you up.
He wolf whistled.
Okay.
I don't know if that would wake you
That's
up.
the wake up for my.
What are your resistance?
40.
Your con?
Wolf perception. What's my con multiplied by?
Nope, just roll. You got 12 con, right?
What's your language?
96.
Okay, you're out cold.
I rolled so well. for
Who's got the
charge.
medical background? This guy might be dead.
You might need to have another character handy. We might be suffering alcohol poisoning or something.
I don't think
You have
this would
peanuts,
be able
man.
to continue.
Maybe he was allergic to peanuts.
See, I told him to roll for anaphylactic shock.
Alright,
Is that your name? Anaphylactic? That'd be hilarious.
Okay.
And just transform into another character.
I spend the rest of my
you noticed while you were talking to Ebenezer,
Alright.
he was kind of scratching and digging here and there. He wears multiple layers of shirts, but at one point he took off a couple layers and was scratching away. And you saw suspended from a chain around his neck a strange symbol carved from a seashell. Do you have any occult knowledge?
No.
Okay.
But I have a good memory.
Yep. So just
So,
remember that you saw
what does it
that
look
strange. I mean, you could ask him about it when you were there if you want.
sure. What's that?
What's what?
Your necklace.
Oh, well, that's from. It's a gift from an old sailor friend of mine.
From the mine?
An old sailor friend of
I
mine.
thought you said from the mine.
Get the wax out of your ears there, boy.
Is there a picture of this symbol?
I'm looking. I don't know if there's a
Can
picture,
I just make one up then?
but there's a description. I'm trying to
Be a
find.
tentacle.
No, it's not that simple. It's not.
2 tentacles.
Remember, Cthulhu is not the only old one out there.
Old what? God?
Yeah.
4 tentacles.
This is the 1920s. There's only one God that I know of.
You're gonna miss.
There you go.
Still, oh my God. Afterlife. God. Makes sense.
She's cleric.
According to Catholicism.
I'm a fighter.
It ain't all Catholics, apparently.
This is a friend of mine who left it for me when he was gone and we missed each other. It's supposed to give me good luck. It was a present he left, good luck charm. Says it's from, it was given to him by one of those Kennekees that we ran into back in the Isles. So he didn't know if it was any darn good, but he always wore it, especially the time he was around those islands. It's been said that some of the ships that sailed out of Innsmouth had something similar attached to their bottoms of their ships. I don't know what's happened to him since. There's my old friend William. But I wear it for good luck, you know.
Has it worked?
As far as I know, I'm still standing. Been around over 80 years, you know. Still going strong. Strong as an ox.
And there wasn't a picture of it?
Oh, easy over whatever.
I will draw.
You don't have. You hold off on that because
I
there'll be
just want
occult
to
stuff.
memorize it.
Okay, but there are symbols that may come up later as the occult knowledge comes up.
So we'll draw it in the sand later. And say, look, this is what the guy was wearing.
Okay, you can do that in the abstract. You're welcome to do whatever you want. Feel free.
Oh no, you told me not to. Jeez.
Well,
Candle
why
light
then?
warping this.
That's just from folding it.
Is it? I thought it was from the
Alright, so it is dark, beautiful night. The haze of this area, you know, makes it a little hazy, but you can see the stars overhead. And the lights seem to be quite a bit above the water. He explains, he tells all of you, get on up above board, sir, get your stuff together, we're almost to the dock. Get your stuff together.
Snore.
Gather all my things, take a look around the top deck to see if I'm forgetting anything.
Drake, did you want to stir the fire to revive the flames? Or do I need to do it?
That's not a do you, that's a do it.
No, otherwise I have to.
I'm incapable of handling fire.
The metal work is to the left there, right by the little bookshelf, the little one.
I see nothing.
So looking at the fire, look to your left. There's a bunch of metal tools.
I see it.
And then you slide the screen open in the middle. Don't be so afraid.
Dang it.
Oh
You might want to stoke it with some fresh wood too. So Ebenezer maneuvers the boat up to the dock smoothly and flawlessly.
We're all listening.
Well, okay, then he's going to wander off.
No,
I'm
Heather's
still
helping.
listening. I'm just trying to teach
Okay.
him how to start a fire.
Oh my god, I know how to start a fire.
He, completely belying his age, he nimbly springs ashore and ties the boat up fast enough to just like leaps off, ties it up to the dock very quickly. So it's dark. There's a light fog starting to roll in, as most times it does every night this time of year. The shore rises steeply from the end of the dock, and the lights of the sanatorium, lights warmly aglow, can be seen high above from its vantage point atop the southern cliffs of the island. From the light outlining it, the huge house seems safe from sea and any storm. It's nice up and high. There's a little bit of a drawing. So it's quite the cliffs. There's the dock down there. And you've got this long, steep walkway up to it, and then there's the house. And it's got some trees and stuff around, but you can see that's quite a cliff. I mean, it's hundreds of feet up, and they are sheer
Climb the road.
up there.
One on
So-
the giant back.
Yes. We've got three.
Gross.
All right, so he's got it tied up. The engine's just kind of idling, and tells you, "Get your stuff out there. Come on." He goes to help you each off. Jump from the boat to the dock carefully. He's especially curious to the ladies, and says, "I'm sorry I won't be escorting you up the walkway. I've got to get the boat placed in the boathouse. Just take that flight of stone steps cut into the cliff all the way up to the sanatorium. It's recent stonework, and it's a good, safe climb. Well, it might be a little tiring for some of you. If you want to leave your luggage here, I can carry it up for you later."
Make a couple of notes.
Mm-hmm.
Take a picture of the boat. Put a picture in the notes.
Don't you need a...
Put the picture in
How do
your
you do
notes.
that?
You have a photo?
I wrote in my equipment
You
said down the private
appropriate to 1920s.
I don't know if it's
Polaroid.
Pretty sure they were
It's
there.
not.
I assume.
Really? Yeah, I'm trying to remember when they came
I
out.
tasted off of Roger Rabbit.
Let's
Yeah,
take a look.
right.
That was 1940s.
Close.
That's a one that I like.
20 years.
Let's find out what it was. Let's find out. It's easy enough.
I didn't know you could have Polaroids if you can't.
No, you're drunk. It's too late. You can't just fabricate it in
I
midair.
used to have that memorized when I was a photographer. I used to know that. There it is. They go back a fair distance, but I don't know. Well, actually,
You collect them.
okay, so
Like
the
70,
first
80.
commercially available one was 1948.
Well, I'm not commercial.
There was an instant camera and a portable wet darkroom, a single compartment invented in 1923 by Samuel Schlafrock.
You wouldn't.
But no,
I don't want the wet room or whatever.
well, that was part of how it worked. It was just kind of all built in. So yeah, you wouldn't have a Polaroid. You could take a picture, but it won't be You'll have to develop the negative later.
Oh.
And it's going to be a time where like you take one picture and you have to slide out the thing and put a new one in. And if you want to flash, it's one, you have to hold the flash up here and the thing here to field. Like I can show you, I have a 1930 or so field camera. I can show you exactly what it looks like.
I've seen them.
Okay.
I'll use that. How many slides do I get then?
You can get a dozen.
1 dozen.
So you have to put one at a time and you pull the plate and they're beautiful because they do like a 4x, the negative is like a 4x5. These are really great detail, they're awesome.
Picture of the boat.
Okay, with the flash. And you gotta replace the bulb each time, you got a dozen bulbs.
Okay. Dozen bulbs.
Flash bulb.
Well, 11 now.
Yeah. Good catch. Alright, so who's gonna leave your gear for him to carry up?
No, I'm taking mine.
Okay, we'll start with you, Ryan. You carrying all your
I
gear?
can have my suitcase.
Okay, you're ready to take your suitcase?
For the majority of it. Just
What?
My gear with me.
Taking all your gear?
Yeah.
You're unconscious.
Nope.
I woke him up.
You woke him up? Did you escort him off the dock, off the boat?
We
Or
didn't
just wake
get
him
that
up?
far.
Okay. Do you help him get off the boat?
Yes.
Okay, so the two of you combine your decks and roll.
What's your dex?
I don't know.
You're gonna break your
Mine's
neck.
bad. Mine's a bad.
17.
So 26.
We want to roll. Wait. Before
You want to roll the combined number or lower?
The lower. So
You
I
wanna roll
want
the
to
lower.
use these guys for like everything.
Are we both rolling?
Yeah, and then you're
Combined
combining.
decks and lower.
53.
You guys find it?
What'd you get? 3?
53.
Okay.
Shoot. 69.
So as you're walking off, he completely loses his footing and puts both of you down, smacking onto the dock because he's just so wobbly. Going from the rocking of the boat to the stable dock, you just both face planted the ground.
So give her helping the drunkard.
I take my clutch and I whack him on the shoulder.
Okay, you get bruises to your shoulder and face. You get a bruise to your knee.
I'm sorry, lady. I'm sorry.
There's a brick in there.
I'll break the rest of
Ebenezer
my
quickly
arm.
helps you up, but just looks at him with disdain. Says, boy can't handle his liquor, boy shouldn't be drinking it. So sorry about that, lady.
Oh, it's not your fault.
Do you want me to carry your gear up for you?
I can take it just fine.
All right, as you wish. So you're leaving your suitcase, but taking
I
your...
have the majority of my cool stuff.
Okay.
He's just taking my clothes.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, you said you're taking all yours, okay? Drake said he's taking his, even though he's drunk. Okay, Heather, you're taking yours.
And my
I
sack.
shall take mine up.
You take yours?
I'll take mine up.
All right, so those of you who took all your luggage with you, roll your stamina times 3. So you multiply your,
Strength?
so many different systems.
How? Oh, there's sand. Oh, it's sand.
Power, maybe?
Well, no, that's a little different.
Size.
It's gonna be size or con. Let's go with con. Or con times 3, yeah.
50.
So you multiply your con by 3 and you roll that number or lower.
Ah.
Wait, I'm leaving my
Alright, I'm not forgetting
suitcase.
that.
You don't have to roll.
Okay.
Because you left your suitcase.
I'm just carrying
on.
things like a deck of
Yeah,
cards.
you're done. Okay, so you're doing just fine.
Like a boss.
49 out of 30.
Okay, so you get about a quarter of the way and you're completely winded. You need to stop and get dizzy.
28 out of 45.
You're doing okay. You're huffing and puffing, but you're doing all right.
Is it windy?
60 out of
No,
42.
no, there's a fog rolling in.
60 out of 42.
All right, same thing. You get about a quarter of the way, you have to stop with him, and you're huffing and puffing and getting dizzy from the effort, and you need to stop. How about you there, Drake? Con times 3? Actually, no, just con for you.
Oh, come on. That's ridiculous. There's only 4 shots.
You're drunk.
No.
What'd you get?
96.
96, roll your dex.
That's a fun roll.
Oh, what is that kind of
What'd you
roll
get?
is that?
That's a
47.
Okay, dex times 3. What's your dex times 3?
27.
Okay. who's in front and who's behind you?
I'm in the back.
I'm
I'm
very
in front of him.
Okay.
Because
No,
I'm
I was
back
only
there.
4 shots, so I would be in the
You
front.
want to roll your dex to see if you catch him?
6 foot.
How high up are we?
You're about 50 feet up.
And these
So
are
I-
super steep steps.
They're super steep.
If my dex is 17, I want to roll under that, right?
Three times your dex.
But I want to roll under it?
Yeah.
So I rolled 8.
Okay, good. So you get so winded, you start teetering and tottering. You misstep and you start to fall off the edge of the cliff. You're about 50 feet up. And you're like going, whoa! And she grabs you by the scruff of your shirt right here and pulls you in right as you were about to go off the 50 foot. 50
You
foot
owe
cliff.
this, Jake.
And you still got a few
It
hundred more
was
feet to
4
go up.
shots.
2 hours.
You didn't need enough. You didn't need enough. Drink enough.
Hit peanut.
Maybe it was being on the water, but you're just feeling really wobbly. Really
It
wobbly.
was,
Okay.
it was some good whiskey.
Don't play with it, Drake, because you rolled poorly. You know that.
I was on
Okay.
the top already because I just
Here.
walked it up.
Yeah, we're up there. What'd you roll?
Well, he didn't have to.
I
He
know.
didn't take a suitcase. So he didn't have
I've
to.
got
my suitcase and everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it dust. I'm good to go.
Yeah, he's doing Dresden.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need to buy you a house once this is over.
All right, so you others catch your breath. You're ready to continue on again. Go ahead and roll your con times 3.
Get up there and do a nice stretch.
Not me.
Oh, yeah.
Times 3.
You can do times 3 now.
Is it under still, right?
Yeah.
Why are we playing Rollmaster right now? I'm rolling in the 90s.
Yeah, but you go like this. You're like,
Yeah, quit dice
I'm
rolling.
rolling.
hey, how much? Yeah.
What'd you get, Austin?
I got 73 already.
Okay.
3 out of 45.
Okay. Okay.
That little pinky's
I got
out. The
42.
little pinky's
Okay.
low.
So you two are just, you go the rest of the way to the top.
94 of them.
You guys stop about halfway again, you're getting too winded.
I'm just gonna take a break.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm gonna sit, right? This looks like a comfortable place to
Not to
sit.
sleep.
Just catch my breath for a little while. And you gotta catch your breath anyway. The two ladies just power on up the hill. So it's just the two of you left halfway up. So you two get to the top first.
Not to drink.
You see the Sanatoriums, you have a few hundred more
Oh, be
feet
careful.
ahead of you. Nice warm light
I'll be
coming from
careful
the
with
windows.
it next time.
You see the ladies are about 3/4 the way up. You can't make out the other two in the dark. And you can see Ebenezer, milling about on the boat and, doing his boat captain thing.
I step off a little ways off the trail.
Okay?
Do you know, like,
Look around and pull out my telescope.
Okay?
And,
Little spyglass.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I was like, telescope.
Yeah, I do.
Okay?
And I have a gander in the windows of the
Okay.
sanitarium.
You do see that
Other bars on the
not really bars, but they are wooden reinforced. But it all looks very nice and homey. It's a large
Yeah.
large mansion.
Sure. I'm just.
But it looks friendly and inviting. It does not look like it.
You're
Again, this was
walking there.
described as,
Yeah.
it's on an island. Where are they gonna go? It's not even a very big island, right? So, it's not that type of sanatorium like you've heard, the old
It's not like
asylums.
Shutter Island.
A lot of people consider it, a resort
I
for
haven't
the
even
elite.
seen it.
That may have some issues that, they don't want the public to see,
Gotcha.
whether it's a drinking problem or
So
whatever.
you're the spyglass, Nick. and I'm
Hysteria.
looking at your spyglass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not like.
So, do you wait for the others or continue on?
I just have a gander and put it away.
What are you doing while he's peeking?
Eyeballing
While he's
me.
being
What, you got a
peeking on?
spyglass?
Okay.
Where'd you get that?
In my journey.
In your journeys. What's your name?
Here.
Okay.
You wait for the ladies to join you. Okay. They come up. They're pretty a little heavy, but seem to be doing well. You don't see the other two gentlemen.
I look back over the cliff.
Okay. In the dark, you can't see that far. You can see Ebenezer's boat
It's
way down
like
there.
dark by now.
Oh, it was
Black
dark when you
midsummer.
got here. It's not midsummer, it's late summer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's late summer. And you're closer to the equator rather than that far north.
I wasn't sure if I still saw a
So
fog rolling.
there's less of the summer variance.
Where are we exactly? Anyway.
You're off the coast of
Zimbabwe.
Massachusetts, you know, not too far from Boston and such.
We're on the coast of Boulder,
That's
Colorado.
almost parallel with the other
So, okay, so it's the four of you there, up there. You see the inviting lights of the sanatorium. You wait for the other two, or?
Is that feeling alright?
I highly doubt it.
Maybe we should wait for them to come up, just in case.
I feel like I helped him enough. I'm gonna need insight.
It is getting a little nippy. You can see the fog starting to obscure the boat below and such, and slowly thicken up down below. But you're above the fog. There's no moon out at this point, but through the starlight and such, you can see the ocean slowly getting covered in a blanket of fog that's slowly growing. Which again, Ebenezer said is normal this time of year.
I start heading for the house.
Okay.
You heading for the house?
Yeah.
We're heading for the house.
All right. You all four head for
Well,
the
the two of
house?
us.
You two.
I'll go.
You'll wait? Okay. All right, so three of you head towards the house.
You too.
Yeah,
He
So
decided
three.
to
The three of you.
Are you staying?
He's staying.
He's staying. The three of
Oh,
you
okay.
head towards the
What are you
house.
doing? You're
I'm
still
not
on the
there.
boat. Oh, okay.
I'm an old man.
I don't get off the boat.
So you've caught your breath, but he's still sitting there kind of in a stupor, catching his breath still. You're feeling a little sick after the exertion. You need water and you're
I
dehydrated.
pull out a flask.
What?
And then I remember it's not water.
Uh-huh.
Well,
It's
do I
vinegar.
remember?
Roll
I rolled it
your
myself.
intelligence.
I do remember,
Okay.
but just barely.
Okay.
Not water. Right.
He's
Just
hardcore.
noticed the spooky lighting of the orange bulbs.
Oh, I thought you were talking about these candles.
Pull my flashlight.
I'll catch up.
Spots
In a
shining on them.
Okay.
Do you have any water?
Don't tell me now.
Flashlight is
Shit.
clever.
You don't know what that.
I'm just saying.
Do a little while before we get to the phone.
I'm gonna crawl my way up
Same
slowly.
reason I had 3 sticks
Careful.
of dynamite.
All right.
I'll walk. Oh, same.
Just you leave him behind or walk with him. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, I'll go with him.
I'm shining my flashlight at them.
So you guys can see they're too far away for
Oh.
you to see them,
Gotcha.
but it does give, they can see someone shining a light down at you, a torch.
Looks like someone's shining a light for us.
Why?
Every time your eyes start to adjust to dark, it screws
Stop with
matches
that dang torch up
it.
there!
You're
I can't hear it.
really, yeah, you're more than a football field away.
I'm just gonna keep my eyes like away from the light.
I turn around and just walk off.
Stay out of the light. Don't go into the light. Okay. All right.
Too dry.
So, do you gonna walk with him or head off without him?
I'll walk with him.
Okay. That will take you guys a bit longer because he's going pretty slowly. But by the time you get to the top, you will retch your guts.
Courage.
Yeah.
Yourself.
You'll still be weak. You need water and you need decent food. As soon as you get water and decent food, pretty quickly you'll
Does an MRE
recuperate. Not really.
Do you have an MRE? Nice.
I'd be a
You
can.
would probably retch that back.
I'd
Yeah,
have
that type big.
I'd be a can.
That would be World War I.
I really
MRE.
like some Franken beans.
Yeah, that's what you need. More dehydration.
Salt.
All right, so the three of you walk up to the door. The door is closed. Do you barge in or knock on the door?
I'm not.
Okay,
Is there a knocker or is it just a door?
just a door.
Okay.
Large, white, friendly, inviting door. Everything about the building is very friendly and inviting.
I don't like this place.
It's too friendly and inviting.
He's a PI.
From inside, you hear a voice of an older woman's, "Hold on to your horses! I'm coming! Off in the distance, somewhere inside the building. It's a very large building. Do you wait, or?
Yeah.
Okay. While you're waiting, he shows up. Jacob's character shows up. They're standing there waiting, looking at the door.
Okay.
You hear
I have a
footsteps on the other
flashlight,
side.
I'm just
Okay. You hear footsteps on the other side of the door approaching. Finally, the door opens, and a woman about 5 feet tall, probably in her 60s, with horn-rimmed thick glasses, with her hair, light gray hair, standing out on end, opens the door.
Sounds cute.
Standing on end.
How old are you?
Well, just all frazzled.
Doesn't matter.
What do you want?
We're here to meet with the doctor.
Oh, well, Dr. Brewer's taking a nap upstairs right now. I'm in charge right now. You can wait in there. She beckons in and points off to the her right, your left.
What's
Or
your
no,
name, miss?
hang on. Sorry.
Her name is
Her left, your right. So- I just lost it. Blanche Richmond. But that's Miss Richmond to you. But go wait in there.
I do
I'll let the
believe
doctor
we should
know.
have rooms. We're staying here for 5 days.
Now please stay out of the living room. I'm afraid we've had a little accident in there.
Accident.
Everybody there that's there, so you haven't really, she's beckoned, but you guys haven't really come into the building yet. Roll your listen, the four of you.
There's a listen?
Yep.
It's 25% base.
Listen. What is that?
Second
So-
column, top
11.
third from the top.
Oh,
Everything's alphabetical.
I don't have any.
But you
Yeah,
roll
it's
base.
still have a
Roll
base.
25.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody has at least
Nope.
25.
Negative.
22.
Okay.
11.
Okay. Leah?
I failed. I got 51 out of
Okay, so those of you who succeeded, you hear somebody running up from around the side of the building and charging straight after Aaliyah, who's aware with his hands out like he's going to grab her with a kind of crazed look. Running up behind Aaliyah. So you and she both hear and turn and see this guy.
Do I see them turning?
Not at this stage. This happens pretty quickly.
Is that coming
So
from
this is
inside or
wow
outside?
from outside. He came
Okay,
running
so
around that side of the
At the
building.
back side of it, so I'll be. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I
So you're kind of
sidestep?
facing the woman, and he's coming running, sneaking up from behind
Can I sidestep and get in between them?
easily.
Okay, I do that.
Okay, what do you do as he's like he sees you and goes to grab your throat?
I'm very tall.
Yes.
Stop! And if he, like,
He goes to grab your throat. He's running right up to you.
Oh,
Yeah. He was going for her, but you've
are you
scared
ready
him
to
up.
clock and right in the face?
Go for it.
Roll your fist.
Best.
But I just have to roll under the percentile.
Yep.
65 out of 75.
All right. Pow! Right in the face. He goes down on the ground. Oh! He moans on the ground. And Blanche comes with, I told you to stop to the gap, you! Picks him up bodily by his shirt and gets him up and he's, oh! Says, go wait in the library. Then she starts shooting out this fellow apparently, because she's yelling at him, his name's Leonard by the. And at this point, she's now pulling him by the ear, like nun style, walking him down the hallway, reprimanding him. Says, "Nothing here, tricks and shenanigans here. I've told you not to do this before. You later people." Blah, 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 blah. She goes down the hallway. What do you do?
Well, shot.
I tightened my
He
flashlight
had
and
blood
turned it
just
around.
pouring. You just nailed him full on. That was a beautiful punch.
I took
And you
my-
guys, you saw him because and you were just kind of turning like, huh? And you just saw him just like with beautiful form, wham, just
We
fluidly.
usually have boxers, though.
Yes, but you guys don't know that. Now he punched like a professional.
75.
That would be just a little bit. My fist is 70, so it's pretty.
No, okay. So you put up a good fight. All right, so you guys are standing outside the doorway.
Looking to make a
Go
fight.
wait in the
So
area, yeah.
you go into the library she indicated.
Mhm.
Okay.
Look at the books that are there.
But didn't she tell the other guy to
Leonard?
go to the library
No, she
too?
said, I told all of you go to the library, do not go to the dining room, we had an accident.
Living
in
room.
there. Sorry,
Living room.
Where's the
living room, yeah, stay out of the living room.
Where's the living room in like a relation
It would
to
be
the
like-
library?
Forward and that way.
Well, you don't know, she kind of gestured in the same direction as the library, but she said stay out of the living room. We had
I
an
want to.
accident.
Library?
Go in the
go
general
to the
direction
library?
you gestured.
She said go to the library.
I'm going to.
We're good at that. Let's go to the library.
I'm
I
going to
also-
the general direction that she gestured.
Yeah, that was towards the library in general as well, when she said dining room as well, or living room as well.
I also am making a point of having my flashlight. I'm holding it at the other end, so it's almost like.
Is it still lit or did you turn it
No,
off?
I turned it off.
Okay.
I turned it off a while ago.
Yeah, and it's nicely lit inside.
I just have it like a club.
Scary.
Like, oh yeah,
Yeah, somebody-
just wait for it. Yeah.
Nice modern
Tighten
electric.
it up a little bit
slow.
extra.
Okay. All right, so all four of you go into the
I'm gonna
library?
look for the living room.
Okay, well, you don't see signs on the door.
Well, I'm
here,
just
but-
gonna wander. and
She was gesturing also towards the library at the same time, so it
When
might
you
be
hit
attached
somebody
to
with
the
your
library.
flashlight,
I
it's
want to
lighter.
find the living room.
No, no,
Of
no.
course you do. Of course you do.
That's called this.
Of course you
I don't
do.
think it counts as fist.
So, you might want to go to the library first and then you'll see from there.
Ah,
Well,
wanted
no,
to
they,
peek.
right, that is not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Okay, so you all go into the library.
Yes, we
All right.
all want to peek in the living room.
So meanwhile, Austin, your character, you got to the top, breathing heavily again. And you can see if you a couple hundred feet away the house, you see the others go inside and close the door behind them as they went inside. You missed the altercation and such. You're just behind him.
No, I'll
He's
stand
been
up.
walking along, but you're slugging. You get to the
I'll stand
top
up.
and you retch.
It's actually,
Okay.
I stay.
The next thing keeps changing.
They're
I
all
stand
in.
up
Okay?
and sway after him.
And then I start going for the house.
And then I'm gonna get me some more booze. No.
Okay. And you head towards the house.
Yes.
Okay. You get to the house. You can see blood on the ground, trickle of blood, fresh blood on the ground, and a trickle going into the house.
I
The fresh blood.
son of a fumble out my pistol.
Oh, great! Drunk with a gun. What could possibly go wrong?
Flashlight in the other hand, put my suitcase down.
All right, roll for dexterity to see if you pull the wrong trigger.
Oh, jeez.
That's times 2.
Oh!
18.
I pulled wrong.
You're trying to do two-handed. Which trigger do you pull when you go to click the light of the lamp?
Well, I rolled a 53 out of 18.
So you fire your gun into the
Into the
door.
ground. No, it was
Well, the
ground
bottom of
level.
it, yeah. Where the flashlight would play. You guys hear a gunshot outside.
What was that?
Instantly.
Just as you go up to walk into the
I run to
library.
the door.
Wrong one.
Okay, you run.
The door.
Are you keeping
So you
track
guys
of that
run
now?
towards the gunfire.
Yeah.
That's your natural instinct, is run towards the gunfire.
I got
Yeah.
That's mine.
Okay, you drop to the ground. I understand you're PI.
Yeah.
Your natural instinct is run towards the gunfire?
No.
You
Right.
run.
You guys were just opening the door to the library when this happened.
I go through the door, look, and then slam the door shut.
Into the library?
Like they're outside, they're on the floor.
Yeah, you duck to the ground.
That's when I
You turn and head towards the gunfire, and she also heads towards the gunfire.
I knock on the door. Trying to go.
And then you hear a knock at the door, the front door.
Oh, door's closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys close as you can.
I have a hand underneath my,
raising the barn.
under my desk.
Yeah, all right. And so you come running up to the door.
I
somebody
think
knocks
I
on the
need
door.
Peephole, is that a thing?
I think you have to put those
I
away.
look through it.
Do you let me?
You see somebody with a gun and a turned off flashlight
I can't see who it is.
arguing with somebody else. Yeah, you can see the two of them.
Oh, I see.
I fumble it back in
But he's got a gun
my
out. All right, you see him putting
Is
the
there
gun
a big
away.
old hole in the door?
There's a hole at the bottom of the door and into the floor. Still smoking.
And then I
Click.
Just right at
And
the
I just go
bottom.
back to the library.
You just locked it.
Yeah.
You hear a click of door lock.
don't want to knock on it with.
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay, you
Oh,
walk
you go
up.
with me?
Yeah, she followed. She went towards the gunfire as well.
Oh, okay.
I open the door and I just
Flashlight right in your face.
whack him in the head with my purse again.
Okay, you turn on the flashlight.
I turned it on when I
Yeah.
fumbled it away.
Yeah.
That's my purse.
What's with the blood?
You see the trickle of blood going down the hallway.
Some lunatic.
I was worried someone cracked one of the upside of the noggin.
Other way around, actually.
And I'm afraid for my safety
Oh.
around you sometimes.
So how are you doing after he just fired a bullet hole in the
I
door?
try
And he's
just
drunk.
going right
So you see her kind of down on the floor looking up.
No, she can't.
I knocked on the door and went into the library.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She
You
like
open it.
knocked really low.
You open it,
Straight in.
shut it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I realized it was a library and
Okay.
forgot all about it and just
I-
wandered off into the books.
Yeah, it's well lit.
Where's anyone else? I don't want to be around this lunatic right
Look,
now.
I'm sorry. I promise I'm pleasant when I'm sober.
You just fired around.
I didn't mean to. I didn't
Okay, you
mean
see
to.
him heading towards the door to the right.
Let's follow
Yeah,
it.
start
Like, I started when I clicked it, and then just left.
I'll go bring up the rear.
Okay.
I grab my suitcase and
Spoken like
sway
an old
after.
veteran gamer. What's that?
I sway after.
Follow them,
after grabbing
okay.
my suitcase.
Okay. Come up to the door, okay. I'm gonna pause it here, because now I need to do a little more reading that's about the buffer I was at.
Okay.
So let's take a little break, chat however you want, and then we'll continue in about
Get there.
10 or 15 minutes.